Look, I understand beating the Portland Trailblazers at home by 3 points is not an earth-shattering win, but I've been looking for a reason to talk about this Detroit Pistons team for a while. I've been really, really impressed with them. They were honestly one of my favorite teams to watch this season. It's just because I love Cade Cunningham, and I really like what they've got going on in Detroit, man. The step forward this team has taken this year has been absolutely massive, and even without Jaden Ivey, they've been able to win a couple games in a row against good competition. I mean, the Trailblazers aren't a great team, but shot incredibly well in tonight's game. I was watching the Trailblazers broadcast, which, by the way, quick shout out to the Trailblazers broadcast. They have one of my favorite broadcasting teams I've listened to this season. But they made the point about midway through the fourth quarter, this was the second most effective field goal percentage that the Trailblazers had all season. And the Pistons still found a way to win. Very impressive win for the Pistons, especially considering Malik Beasley, who's second in the league in threes, was 1 for 10, 1 for 9 from three tonight, although he did make a huge one in the final couple minutes of the game. But a very impressive win nonetheless for the Pistons, despite the opponent, and the type of win that, again, just makes me go, this team's legitimately good. Like, they're not a joke. They're not a fraud. This is a legitimately good basketball team that is a playoff team. I think they're a real playoff team. That is a huge step forward for this season for the Detroit Pistons, and I want to talk about how impressed I have been with them as a team and why that is in this video. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. With that being said, without further ado, let's hop right into it and let's talk about this Pistons team. So it all starts with Cade Cunningham. There's nowhere else you can start with the Pistons. Cade with another big performance tonight. 32 points, pretty efficiently, 40% from three, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 4 turnovers. I mean, the 4 turnovers could be better. That's probably my biggest criticism of his game this season. I'll get a little bit more to that as this video progresses. But as a whole, another big performance. He was good defensively. He's been really impressive to me defensively this season. That's one of the things I really like about Cade is I feel like he actually does kind of stand out on the defensive end of the court individually compared to a lot of the other talented point guards that we see around this league. And I know his size contributes in a big way to that. But in general, I really think he's a very good player and a little bit underappreciated overall, as good as he is. But he also got some help tonight. Tim Hardaway Jr. had one of those nights, 10 of 15, 6 of 9 from 3, 26 points. The type of night that as a Mavs fan, I am fully aware that Tim Hardaway Jr. can have at any time. Now, I can criticize Tim as a player. He has moments where it's just like, dude, stop shooting the ball, please. You're just doing the stupidest stuff ever. Because he has a habit of doing really stupid things at times. But when he's cooking, Tim Hardaway Jr. can be a huge part of a team's offensive success. Tonight, he was just that. Stepped up and filled that void left by Jaden Ivey's injury, left by Malik Beasley's poor shooting performance tonight, and had himself a great game. Tobias Harris providing that consistent, steady veteran presence. 5 of 8, 2 of 3 from 3, 17 points, had himself a solid game. I've liked what I've seen out of Jalen Duren recently. He had 14, 12, and 4 tonight. I think he's become a better connector. He's becoming, I think, a little bit more impactful defensively as well as of late. Feels a little less Andre Drummondish and a little more really contributing to winning, which is what you want to see from your young center. And he's a guy that really needs to grow alongside Cade and Jaden and some of these other young guys in Detroit. Asar Thompson didn't even play tonight, which I think was a big part of why Anthony Simons was able to have as big of a game as he did. He had 36 points on really good efficiency, was really cooking tonight, making some tough shots. And I do think that not having that point of attack defense in Asar Thompson hurt this team a bit. He's been a big piece of what they've done recently, and I think he's going to be a starter for this team with Jaden Ivey out, and for good reason. I mean, he's been awesome. I really like Asar. I think he's one of the most exciting and unique players in all of basketball in terms of what he provides. Ron Holland has really shown me some flashes as well as a high effort, high motor, gritty player. He's not just an athlete. He is a really intense, high effort player who, yes, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes, and he makes them more than you want to see. No doubt about that. You'd like to see some better decision making and things of that nature at times. But he has a lot of promise. He's an awesome athlete, which we all knew, but I love the effort he puts in defensively and the intensity he has on the offensive end of the court as a cutter, finisher, all that type of stuff. Makes too many mistakes, but that's okay. He's a young player. He's 19 years old. Like, let's give the kid some time. He's going to find his groove as a player. And I think he's another guy, honestly, is looking like a pretty decent pick, especially if he can figure out that 3-ball. I like Fontecchio as a 3-and-D guy. Beef Stew's a really good high-intensity interior player, although his shot has just not fallen this season, which has been frustrating. Sasser wasn't good tonight, but I kind of like him as a bench guard as well. Like, overall, I really like this Pistons roster. Like they're pretty good. They have really good versatility, especially when Jaden Ivey is healthy, because he's such a capable secondary scorer and has also shot the ball so well this season, about 41% from 3 on 5 attempts a game. This team's shot the ball much better than you expected them to this season. Asar Thompson has not played a ton, and I know he hasn't shot the ball very well from 3, and also Ron Holland, same thing, has not shot the ball very well from 3. Those two guys, though, if they become just league average to, I mean, even close to league average shooters, they're going to be two of the most impactful wing role players in all of basketball because of the effort and intensity they provide, especially Asar. There are just very few players in basketball who have the freakish quick jump ability that he has, second jump ability, rebounding ability as a guard. He is such a talented young player. Really, both those guys are going to be super impactful, but especially Asar. He is one of those players that I just love to watch. He was a huge piece of their win against Minnesota a few nights ago, and I'm a big fan of what Asar Thompson brings to the table for this Pistons roster. But again, at the end of the day, you can like the roster all you want. They've got the good veteran presence from guys like Tobias, Malik Beasley especially, who's really bought in to that Detroit culture. Tim Hardaway Jr., who is a Michigan man in his own right, obviously went to Michigan in college, and I think is Michigan born and raised as well, and also was another player who definitely is a good locker room guy. His teammates like him. Play style aside, people like him, and overall you like all that stuff. The thing that I like most about this team, though, at the end of the day, is the progression from Cade Cunningham. He has become more efficient across the board, having basically right at his career best finishing at the rim. It's still 48.5%. You'd like to see that a little bit higher, I'll be totally honest, and I think that's understandable to criticize. And I think it is a real point of criticism. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not a concern, because it is a concern. But he's shooting the ball so much better this season on the highest volume of his career, and his efficiency has just gone up so much these last couple seasons as a shooter. Not to mention, I mean, the assist turnover ratio isn't perfect, but it is better than 2-1. The turnovers have gone down as of late as well, which is an important step in his development as that primary ball handler. He is an absolute all-star, having a 100% all-star deserving season, and people should be talking about Cade Cunningham more if they're not, because he is having a great year and just deserves to get all the praise in the world for all the great things he is doing. And as a whole, this Pistons team deserves a lot of praise for all the great things they're doing, because look, they're the 8th seed in the East. They're right around that 6th seed. I mean, they're hovering only half a game back of the 6th seed, especially considering the Heat's recent issues and the Pacers' inconsistency and some stuff like that. Like, this team has a real path to the playoffs, and they honestly have a potential path to not even being a play-in team this season. The progress they're making this year is absolutely phenomenal. And look, they're not a contender this year. They're probably not going to win around the playoffs or anything like that. But the growth this team has made as a whole is really good, and I think really encouraging. If you are a Pistons fan, for the first time in a long time, you have a team you can really be a fan of and really have excitement for the future and the potential of this team about as well. So that's a great spot to be, and I think that's the perfect progress you wanted to see this season with a new head coach, really a lot of everything has been changed. And so getting this much progress has been a very encouraging sign for the Pistons, and I'd be thrilled if I was a Detroit Pistons fan. I'm having a blast as a neutral observer watching this team. So with that being said, I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.